going on, guys? Beagler Outdoors here, Carl Beagler. I'm going to discuss with you one of the reasons why I switched over from a bass tracker to this Nitro Z20. So when I first got into my bass boats, I had actually got a 10-foot John boat, and I had bought it I drove to Okeechobee and picked it up. I think I paid like $1,400 for it. And we were fishing the Withlacoochee River, and there was a 10-foot gator that we passed by, and my wife was like, yeah, we're not doing this. We need a bigger boat. So then I went to Ocala. I went to Miller's, and I bought a 19-foot John boat with a 50 horse on it. You know, remote start. Actually, no. Before that, I bought, I'm trying to think what I bought. I bought one John boat, then I had a bigger John boat. So we went to 3 John boats. Anyway, I decided I want to get an actual bass boat. So I went to Bass Pro and looked at the prices of boats. And I was like, well, I mean, the Bass Tracker looks cool. It looks kind of like the expensive boats. It's not. It's definitely not. Just listen to me on this, all right? So I looked at like the Nitros and stuff, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'm just going to get a Bass Tracker. Got the Bass Tracker. Did us good. You know, it did us good. And I think the Bass Tracker cost us $23,000 in 2018. We paid $23,000 for it. Then in that time, eventually, from before I traded it in, it had, you know, the live scope on it. It had the Minn Kota Raptors on it. It had had everything on it. It was pretty much like a tournament ready bass boat. But the problem is, so there's a lot of different prices on things. And I'm going to just, when it comes to bass boats, I'm going to tell you how I rate them, okay? And I'm going to throw other brand names out there which have nothing to do with what I bought. But Bass Tracker is low. It's probably lower than Bass Tracker. But Bass Tracker is the bottom end. All right, to me. Then you get into Nitro. Still made by Bass Tracker. But Nitro is like 1,000 times better than a Bass Tracker. Then when you get to the big bowler boats like the Nitros, it becomes more money for just little build quality, you know, the pumps on the doors, the locks, stuff like that. So they're all good boats once you go to Nitro and up. But after Nitro, you got Ranger, then you got Skeeter, and you got Phoenix, my all-time favorite boat, and you have Bass Cat. Bass Cat being $100,000, Nitro being $70,000. So you have a $30,000 range in there. I personally have a Nitro Z20. So the thing about the Bass Tracker is, number one, the front beam is small, okay? So when me and my wife were to fish up front, it'd be really hard. She never fished up front. She'd always fish on the back. She has no problem doing that. And actually, we took out the new boat, and she's still so used to fishing in the back, she didn't even come to the front, all right? So there's just no room. So if me and one of my buddies are fishing, it's hard for people to fish off the bow. So that's number one. I wanted a boat that had a bigger beam in the front. And the beam on this Nitro, it's got to be 2 feet bigger, minimum. That was the one thing I wanted out of a new bass boat, okay? The second thing I wanted out of a new bass boat was the Bass Tracker had a 115 motor on it and topped out, you know, loaded up kind of like how my boat is here. We only really got about 45 miles an hour at 5,000 RPM. That's it. We maxed out at 45. Now, if you had pretty much no gas in there, and it was just me, probably get to 46, 47. So that was the second thing. But the biggest thing to me was just like, with the Bass Tracker, the doors, just there's no seal on the doors. Everything is wet and moldy and smells like mildew. Every single compartment. It's just the cheapest. It has the same door locks as the Nitro, because remember, Nitro makes Bass Tracker, same company, White River, I think they're called, whatever they're called. But it's just the water, man. Like, everything was moldy, rusty. Last year, my wife had a surgery and I had 3 surgeries. So we didn't take out the boat for a year and a half. Man, the mold in that boat, and even if you leave them open and let them breathe the doors, It's just so bad. All right, so on the Bass Tracker, hull rock solid. The aluminum hull rock solid, man. You could run right into something. You don't even put a scratch on it. Not you should run into anything, but okay. The motor runs beautifully. All the Mercury motors super quiet. Okay, trailer, amazing trailer on the Bass Tracker. Same thing as a Nitro. So I needed more speed because I'll give you an example. So we fished a tournament one time and we got called number one. And we're flying 44 miles an hour thinking we're going fast, but the guy that got called number 6 flies past it in the 250. So now, I'm not a fan of going fast on the water, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like driving fast. It's not my thing. So like even yesterday we took this boat out, I got up to 60, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not going faster than that. But with that said, the Nitro to me, there's a difference in price too, because the Nitro, all said and done, out the door, you're almost 70K. And this is a Z20. Your Z21, I think, is like almost 80K, because you can get them with a 300. But in this boat, there's so much room. I literally took everything from the Bass Tracker and put it in here, and I have room to put double that stuff in here. Okay? We have a better cooler. The Bass Tracker in the back, the cooler system are just these little doors that barely slam down. The rivets are all crooked. The doors don't shut. And it holds ice, but then, the drain gets clogged and you can't drain the water out and you're stagnant water sitting back there. And another thing too about the Bass Tracker, there's no room in the back bilge area, okay? So on the Bass Tracker, if you look at my other videos, and you open up the door, you have the whole gas tank. See, in this boat, I'm sitting on the gas tank, okay? It's right under, in between the seats, okay? On the Bass Tracker, you have this big gas tank, and the only thing you have room for is 3 batteries. Okay, now, I had one battery for cranking and 2 batteries for trolling motor. Now, where do you put the power pole pumps? Where do you put them? Or Minn-Kota Raptor pumps. You have to route all the hoses and everything up to the bottom of the boat into a hole this big, all those wires and stuff into one of your compartments, which gets wet and gets moldy. So you had to put the 4th battery if you're putting, live scope and stuff. Live scope too. You cannot mount it in the back. You couldn't mount it up front. You had to mount it right in one of your compartments are gone off the Bass Tracker. So you have 2 compartments in the Bass Tracker. That's it. 2. One compartment's for your rods. Well, actually, you have 3. I'm sorry. 3 compartments. One in the center for your rods. Gets wet, moldy as hell, smells like mold. It's always wet. Compartment on the left, you put all your tackle in. Compartment on the right, you could throw your life jackets in, your paddle, all your stuff. But if you're putting like power pole pumps, a battery, and live scope, that all has to go in that compartment, which gets moldy, rusty, and stinks, and everything gets wet. So I got tired of that, man. Everything is wet. Everything is wet, wet, wet. Smells moldy. And it's a smaller boat. My wife did say that the back seat of the Bass Tracker is actually more comfortable than the one of the Nitro. But these do have better seats. So the 3 reasons why I upgraded from a Bass Tracker to a Nitro: space, faster motor, waterproof compartments. Those are the 3 reasons. Those 3 things right there, I cringe my eye with the Bass Tracker. Bass Tracker they don't care about, they put little drains in the little door jams and stuff in the compartments. They get clogged up. The little holes has mold on it, okay? Everything is just so cluttered and tight. Now the Bass Tracker is good if it's your first boat and you want to get into, bass boats, but I'm just telling you, it's going to be a mission. Because most people will buy a boat and they'll kind of buy the bottom end of it and then add the stuff to it after. It is hard, man. A Bass Tracker is hard. Hard, hard, hard to run anything. Because you have a small area in the bilge, and the problem is you have an access panel under the seat, but those bolts get rusted because it's so wet. You strip out the bolts, now you got stripped metal bolts in aluminum. You can't get the thing out. You see my frustration. I love the Bass Tracker. Took care of her. When I traded it in, the motor only had 30 hours on it because in Florida we mainly use the trolling motors in Florida. But that's the reason why I upgraded to the Nitro, and I really do like this boat. I'm getting used to the hot foot, man. The hot foot thing is new to me because I didn't realize that when you have the hot foot, your throttle on top doesn't work anymore. So yesterday, and then when you put it in drive, oh, you put it in forward with the throttle, it doesn't move in the other boats until you give it some. But with the hot foot, as you put it in, it's already idling forward. So I wasn't used to that, and I'm sitting here doing stuff, and I rammed that brand new 250 Mercury motor into a damn dock and put a giant scratch in the top of the motor. So, but that's why I switched. And also, in the Bass Tracker, there's no room for any graphs. You have to put a little rim mount on the side and put one graph. If you can't put two graphs in the front. I mean, at the helm, you can't put two graphs. You could barely put one graph at the front. You have to put a special mount, and then it's off to the right here. It's off to the right when you're driving. It's pretty much right here. On the Nitro, you can put two just like this, okay? On the bow of the tractor, yeah, you could put as many as you want because, I mean, a bow's a bow. But also on the Bass Tracker, man, just to access the whole front area, when you want to run wires, you have to take off this metal thing, and it's all wet. The carpet's all wet, and you can't get in there. You know, the Nitro, it's all sealed. Everything is just a little sealed compartment. You take out a bunch of screws, you pull out, and you have all this access. And they run wires in the Nitro, and anything, not the whole gunnel system. It goes around the side. Bass Tracker don't have that gunnel system. Bass Tracker runs everything through the bilge. Everything goes through the bilge, okay? I mean, there's some stuff that runs through this little gunnel area here, but it's very minimal. So, but that's the reason why I traded up, and it was a hard decision, man, because you got to realize, man, I almost had the Bass Tracker paid off. Me and my wife almost had that thing paid off, and I went and got, the Nitro. So now, we went from, you got to think, if you're looking financial, we went from having $9,000 in debt. That boat's gone. Now we're $55,000 in debt. So we added $45,000 of debt. But was it worth it for the bigger motor, the space, and the dryness in the water? Yeah, 100%. 100% worth it, man. So, if you're looking into getting a Bass Tracker, and you'll see all the warranty stuff I have with the Bass Tracker, all right? I had to get the whole deck taken off, re-supported, welded on, re-plywooded, the brand new carpet throughout the whole boat. That took 6 months. So I had a lot of problems with the Bass Tracker. Motor ran fine, but I had a lot of problems with it. Hopefully a Nitro has none, besides my stupidity yesterday, crashing it and riding off the trail. It's gangster yesterday, trust me. I could blame it on the current in the river, but God might think I'm lying. I think it was the current. But anyway, that is why I switched from Bass Tracker to Nitro, and I upgraded and I got rid of the Bass Tracker. So if you guys are wondering why I did that, because the Bass Tracker, you got to realize, last week, I just literally 2 weeks ago put the Raptors on, the live scope, the bigger graphs, all 2 weeks ago on the Bass Tracker. And my buddy came and helped me, and I'm like, all right, we got to take it all off. And this was like a week later, we're pulling all that stuff off. Because when I traded in the boat, they gave me a certain price, and they said they didn't care about, all they cared about was the boat and the trailer. I wish I would have took off the damn Ultrex, but, so I got to keep all my stuff. But that is why I upgraded from the Bass Tracker to the Nitro. So I hope this answered any questions. If you have any questions about the Nitro, we have a 2024 Z20 with a 250 on it, and it's got the hot foot, and it's got all the fancy stuff on it. So if you have any questions about it, leave comments in the bottom. And once again, thanks for watching. I'm going to do giveaways, man. I have so much stuff to give away. I have 2 sets of cold tags to give away. I just don't know how to do it. I'm waiting to get more people, because right now we have like 2,500 subscribers. I wish I get like 3,000 subscribers, because it's like, if you watch one of the videos, I did a video recently, and on the end of the video, shows that you guys don't watch the whole video, I said I'm doing a giveaway for something, and no one entered it. I was giving away $50 cold tags, brand new, for free. No one entered it. So that shows that you don't watch the whole videos, but I get it. Sometimes I ramble on, but I really hope this video helped you guys out. Any questions about the Bass Tracker, if you're looking at getting one, or if you're looking at getting a Nitro, hit me up, man. I'll answer you back anytime. Beagler Outdoors, out.